region, and of course we are right to be having good relationships with China no matter where you come from in this region, particularly in the economic space. But China hasn't gone to the moon. China didn't invent nuclear weapons. China didn't invent how to build cars. And I'll tell you, Papua New Guinea doesn't need nuclear weapons. I suppose you go like fight Los Solomons, or you need a nuclear weapon, or Minnesota. Why you go by fight Los Solomons too? Yeah? No, not gonna need it. Not gonna need it on the moon too. But I'll tell you what it is. I get the message. I understand the message. The message is that there are opportunities if you commit and you put your mind to it. I understand. But I think sometimes the rhetoric that comes from China about what they do and how they do it can be a little bit mixed with the reality. The reality is that the engineers all around the world that develop the technology that goes into the modern vehicles, the engineers all around the world that develop the technology that goes into these spacecraft, that's what they have gathered and used. Now, that's their own purpose and their own decision making. But that technology can come from PNG just like it can come from China and come from Australia. You don't need to build it, the final product, but you need to be part of that one piece. Because without the one piece, the whole machine is not working. So that's where Papua New Guinea has, I think, great opportunities. So in Lihir, again, we have 6,000 workforce. Our workforce is more than 90% Papua New Guinean. We are very proud of that. We want to increase that further, and we have Papua New Guineans at all levels, from senior management and through all the skills areas. We obviously focus on Lihirian opportunities for Lihirian people, but it's not a very large population there. So we of course have the bulk of our Papua New Guinean workforce comes from all around the other parts of PNG. I think there wouldn't be a single province in Papua New Guinea that doesn't have representation working and living in Lihir. And then we run a FIFO, mainly FIFO arrangement into the rest of Papua New Guinea. So we would fly people back to their homes for their break. And gentlemen over here can tell me what's the current rotation times that we operate. It's 22 on and 15 off. 20. So okay, so 22, 20. Okay, so you work for 22 days on site every day, and then we fly you back home, and you got 20 days to kick around and enjoy being with your family and your friends. But I'll tell you, this is what actually happens. With our 6,000 workforce, when those people go home to their towns and their villages or their cities, wherever they're from, we fly people all around Papua New Guinea. All of them become entrepreneurs. All of them become business people. All of them are themselves generating further income. And this is my main message of link to sustainability here. Mining offers the economic opportunities that are much, much, much more than just that single mine site itself. I think sometimes when you look at a big company or a big business, you say, okay, how much is that company contributing in exact numbers in tax or whatever? So in Lihir last year, our overall contribution to Papua New Guinea was 1.5 billion kina. That is 1,500 million kina into Papua New Guinea. We know that for a fact. The bulk of that is supplier contracts to Papua New Guinean companies. We prioritize Papua New Guinean companies above everybody else, but you have to deliver. We don't just give it as a charity. You have to have the best quality and the best price. And these Papua New Guinean companies are out competing the other companies from around the world. And that is, I just also will say that 500 million of that 1.2 billion, so 500 million kina of that goes to companies from Lihir, little Lihir Island. They have those contracts themselves, their own companies. And now those Lihirian companies are all around Papua New Guinea as well. So, of course, salary and wages is another very large amount. We are very proud of our salary and wages contribution. 350 million kina goes into the pockets of our workforce every year. And as I said, 90% of that is Papua New Guinean. And that's what I'm talking about in terms of the sustainability. It goes back out to the villages. You say, you go like PNG, you know, say, put in the pocket of you now, what nothing, or plenty of one talk back home, all friends back home. Some people asking money, nothing, or some people like a big business idea, store blow, startup blow, SME blow, or like you can put in some money, go to training, or picking can kiss him school fees. accustomed to him, start one him choice and you use him, okay, you can use him. But I mean, the point is that it becomes a force multiplier. And how do you calculate that? How can you exactly calculate that impact on the economy? And look, we are partners with the Papua New Guinean government. We are deep and committed partners with the Papua New Guinea government. Newcrest has been owning the Lihir mine for more than 13 years. We have great plans for its long-term future. We are committed to that mine. It's one of the most complicated mines, if not the most complicated mine in the world. It's in an extinct volcano. Minasau yugabi lugimonoga. In Fulablo, steam and hot nogutru piglarentu. Very remote place. Everything that needs to be done there is we do. But the reason why you don't hear too much about Lihir in the news is because we are best practice operators. We are best practice operators in terms of the way our engineers go about their work, and we are best practice in terms of how we care for our people, particularly the safety of our people and the opportunities that we provide our people. But we are not perfect. We are a lot of areas that we want to improve, but the facts speak for themselves also, that we do what we do in the best way possible. We are also 50% joint owners of WFEO with Harmony Gold. We have been working on negotiations to reach agreement on that mine, which will be just about 90 kilometres from Lae, up in the mountains past the Markham, out of the Markham Valley. Those negotiations have been progressing and progressing well and progressing in good faith. And we look forward to the time when we can reach an agreement that provides a good opportunity, a good return for the Papua New Guinean government, a very good return for the people of Papua New Guinea, as well as a good economic opportunity for our companies to even invest further in Papua New Guinea. So you engineers need to keep your eyes open for those opportunities as well. On the engineering side, we have around about 200 roughly people with engineering qualifications at Lihir. Then we have over here 4 of our staff from the site, from some of our management level, as well as those in the graduate program. And please come and have a talk to them about what it's like working for Newcrest. We also have, as a company, we have 2 mines in Australia, we have 2 mines in Canada, we have a mine in Ecuador as well. And we're always looking to find opportunities for good people to move within the company. So there is a lot of Papua New Guineans working in different parts of our operation around the world. We don't say, oh, you're Papua New Guinean, so you have to work in Papua New Guinea. We just want the best people to work in the right place. Of course, mainly people are going to be here in PNG. That's where the bulk of our workforce is from. In terms of sustainability as well, I want to talk about the importance, just very quickly, of mining to the future that we are all moving towards, which is a sustainable zero emissions future. Newcrest has made a commitment to be zero emissions by 2050. Now, that is obviously going to be reliant on a lot of technology and a lot of changes between now and 2050, but we are already putting in place our commitment to what it takes to be zero emissions. Now, it's a very big commitment for a company like Newcrest because mining uses a lot of, is a heavy intensive use of particularly fuel to be able to run the generators to maintain the mines. But we are committed to all the different innovation that is that is currently taking place in the fuel generation sector, as well as the powering of vehicles. We are seeing more and more opportunities for battery-powered vehicles, even the largest, and of course in our everyday, the way we go about our work in these large mine sites, we are very confident that we will be able to reach that deadline, and really what we would love to do is reach that zero emissions deadline before 2050. But a big part of our contribution to the globe's zero emissions is particularly what we are pulling out of the ground. Newcrest is a gold miner, but when you get gold, you will get other materials, particularly copper, that is used in batteries and in the opportunity, in all of these different wind turbines, solar systems, they all need copper. The world is short of copper. And gold is used in that industry as well, but copper is the one that is in very short supply. WFEO is a gold mine, but it's also a huge copper mine. It will be one of the world's largest copper deposits. So that will be the companies and Papua New Guinea's direct opportunity to contribute towards a zero emissions future. The more copper that we can take from that mine, and we do it in an environmentally and culturally sensitive way, but the more that we can pull from that mine, the more opportunity and the faster we can reach that goal of zero emissions and have a healthy planet for our children and our children's children. That is a very strong commitment by our company and by the industry, I've got to say. Those of us that operate as Tier 1 miners, those of us that operate as best practice miners, we work together very closely on making sure we can achieve that goal. So that's a lot. It's very good to meet you here today on World Engineering Day. I encourage those of you that are here in the engineering field to continue with your work. Papua New Guinea needs more engineers. It needs to be able to do more development that my good sister spoke about before I spoke here. And I would also encourage you that if anything that I've said today about what Newcrest offers Papua New Guinea workforce is of interest to your friends or family or One-Talks, look at our website. Don't be afraid to reach out, learn more about what opportunities will be there both now and in the future for Newcrest mining in Papua New Guinea, because we are committed to Papua New Guinea for the long term. We've demonstrated that over the last 20 years, and we will continue to demonstrate that for many, many years to come. So thank you again for this opportunity. It's a pleasure to be here today, and I wish all of you a happy and safe weekend. Thank you.